Boom.
Damn, you didn't even clap.
No, I didn't.
Damn.
I'm
Shame.
I'm letting you do all the work.
Shame. No clapping, no sinking. But yeah, no. Welcome back.
To TAE Time.
How are you? How has things been? Not too bad, you know?
Did you just ask and answer your own question?
Yeah, I did. Because I'm allowed to. That's how
How
it works.
you be?
This is our podcast and I'm involved, so I can do whatever the fuck I want. You know what?
Boo.
You know what? Because I actually swear a lot in this podcast and you swear as well.
Yeah.
Well, mostly me. I always have to set it as explicit on Spotify.
Really?
No,
That's
put
an
up the volume.
option.
Yeah, you have to explicit because it says curse words. Like,
But then
you know.
does the same thing like go for like say Joe Rogan podcast or like Call Her
yeah,
Daddy?
explicit. It's
Okay.
like music. Sure, think about it. The music that has the E means it has
my
curse words. Otherwise,
God.
it's censored. You know, so I always have to set it as explicit.
Wait,
There's
what
some
you mean?
episodes I did not put as explicit though.
Oh.
But that's because we didn't actually curse as much in there. So I usually just leave it as like
No.
clean or whatever.
But what do you mean by
so the family friendly Christian channels can find it.
Oh, what do you mean by they censor it? As in like they bleep, like if you were to put out a song.
No,
with, like,
no. As in like think about how artists release safe for work versions of their songs sometimes. Like
No,
WAP.
that's
right?
not what I asked.
Oh, Spotify doesn't do
You didn't
anything.
listen to my question.
Oh, sorry.
I asked, say I have a song where I'm cussing a lot. I put it out as uncensored, like I put it safe for work.
Yeah.
What does Spotify do?
Nothing.
So then what's the point of adding that it's explicit?
Because it's like letting the thing know it's explicit. But also, I think if it is, I'm not too sure because I didn't check it. But I think if it is explicit and you put it as not explicit, maybe they have like an audio AI that goes through and then sets it to explicit, or they just don't show it to
Anyone?
people. Yeah.
That would suck, actually.
But yeah, no, either way, I'm not too sure. But yeah, no, I always put it as explicit because I curse like a motherfucker. So
I mean, it's our podcast. We can do whatever.
no, like a sailor. Isn't that what the thing? Like a sailor. Because sailors curse a lot. That's
Do
like,
they?
Like that's the saying. Like a curse. I swear like a sailor. Yeah.
What's the story behind that?
I don't know. Ask a sailor. I think because the pirates, sailors curse a lot. I don't know. Like it's one of those things that like people say, but no one really knows what's the story there.
Any sailors listening or watching?
You know.
Please let us know.
Yeah, no, but it's not too bad. Like, but fun times for anyone who's in Ireland. You know, it's just
Big news.
It's been announced that lockdown's over. And by lockdown, I mean the pandemic's over. I love that TikTok that you sent yesterday. It's like your man. It's like the Irish guy going like the Irish government trying to tell people to keep calm and actually still social distance and stuff while also removing all restrictions and then everyone's like this. It's party time. Let's go.
So let's do a demo. You party. You party and I'll be the government.
Let's go.
Guys, the pandemic isn't over. The pandemic isn't over.
But no, the pandemic isn't over. We're in an endemic stage, but like it's obviously not over. But restrictions are removed. Everything's back open. So you better party. Let's go. Enjoy
What's your
yourself.
plans? Are you planning to go wild?
No, I actually
Let's go
don't
wild
really
and
give a shit.
wild.
The only thing it does is allow me to go out again. Like besides that, it doesn't really change my life. Like all I've been doing is working, going to the gym, and then seeing you, and then going play some video games if I have time, or like watching anime or something, and then going back. So.
But how has the pandemic like affected your work?
Me, not really. Like everything I do is from my computer anyway, so like it doesn't really matter. Like we all work on our laptops, so all it is just I'm not seeing people face to face. So that's like the only downside. But the thing is, I like working from home personally. I like working from home. Yeah, I do. I don't need to have that face-to-face human interaction. I will say though that it does make life easier if you have that face-to-face interaction.
Easier in what sense?
I think just communication and like I don't know. There's something about being able to talk to someone face to face that's just like I don't know, feels different.
Okay,
from
but I feel like
over Zoom.
I feel like you're describing this in a like it's easier to resolve problems face to face rather than it's nice to have human interaction.
No, it's actually easier to resolve problems.
No. But I mean, you're only speaking from a work sense. Yeah. It doesn't sound like you're missing the fun, friendly side of things.
The fun, like once again. I play so much fucking video games. I don't give a fuck. Like, I really don't care. Like, I'm used to like only interacting with people online and like like some of the friends I have online are like people I've never met in real life, you know. So I'm used to like doing that fun, friendly interaction over the internet. So it's nothing strange to me, you know.
But obviously, while you were at work, you were friendly interacting.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Do you miss that?
We were having bands, like
yeah. Do you miss that part?
Yeah, that part I do like.
Okay.
You know, but you know what we'll do is probably once a week or once every few weeks we'll go into the office and have bands together. So you know, a day specifically for bands. So
that's very nice.
That's the plan that we're doing right now.
But how did it affect you in your job initially, though? Was it like?
I'll tell you right now. I know for a lot of people, it did actually affect them, like working from home. Like one of my roommates, Drew, he didn't really enjoy working from home that much. Like he kind of enjoyed it at the start, but he didn't enjoy fully working from home. He likes kind of like a mix. Me, I personally don't mind fully working from home, obviously. Like I think it depends on from person to person as to what you like and what you don't like. Me personally, I have no problem working from home. I quite enjoy working from home, like, you know, because it just saves me time first off, you know. So especially since I was the type of person that was getting up early, like even though I was like 15-minute walk away from the office, like, but I would still get up super early because I start work early. Usually I wake up early, like wake up like 7 o'clock, chill in bed or like for 30 minutes or whatever, get ready, and then I'll like start working around 8 or whatever, you know, assuming I'm not doing other stuff. So like somewhere between 8 and 9 I'll like definitely be working. But like now that's like my routine now. But back then I was waking up 7 o'clock, getting ready, doing whatever, and then start walking to work and getting out work at like 8 o'clock, you know, like, or even before that. and then I'd be there, like, you know. So I was like, I not having to do that just made my life so much better, bro.
Yeah, okay.
You know?
I know a lot of people when they, you know, having to move from home, like work remotely or whatever, they talk about the whole like separation of being at home and the work environment, and having that always around, almost like, it's always around me, is really like difficult. Do you feel like you need at least like a separate room, or does it affect you at all?
Doesn't matter. I think I am mentally sturdy for this work from home situation. It does. Like before, when I was up in Dublin, it was grand, because remember what I used to do was I had my table for my PC and stuff, but then I had like this big dresser that went up to like halfway down my body, like 2/3 or whatever it was. Okay. And then I would just put my laptop on top there, just stand up and work all day. And then that was technically my separation from my desk to my work office as I did it. But now back home in Kerry, I obviously don't have that. So all I do is just I work directly from my laptop. But like I honestly on my PC's desk anyway. And I honestly don't have any problems. Like I was made for this, you know.
I
was made for my productivity has not dropped. Like,
really?
Work wise, I'd say the only thing it's done for me is that my productivity for stuff outside of work has now increased, because at work I couldn't do other things in like the down times, right? Like for example, let's say I did some code and I have to test it, right? And it's testing for 30 minutes, and let's say like I have no other code to work on in that between that 30 minutes, or I have no documentation to write up or anything. I can literally like put on something on the TV. I just like enjoy that for like 30 minutes before and then go back. I couldn't do that at work.
Yeah.
But now I'm getting the best of both worlds, where in my downtime at work, I can actually do stuff I enjoy on the side.
Or like go on your phone. Was that an issue in the office?
You know, yeah, or go on my phone or stuff like that, you know. But the thing is, like, what I used to do before is like for stuff like that, we just go upstairs and like maybe like chill, play pool, or go have a chat with someone, you know. But like obviously, like it's a lot easier. Like those are also things that are nice that I do kind of miss, of like being in the office, being able to do that, like the human interaction stuff, you know. That like it's nice to, like, you know, just seeing anyone I'm working with, chatting, having a good time. Like those are nice, but overall, like honestly, it's not that deep for me. I don't mind it, you know. Like
that's interesting.
I'm one of those guys.
Are you just saying this just in case any of them listen? Yeah.
Covering
your ass that you're like
honestly.
spending time with them.
No, I honestly did enjoy it. Like even like my team, I did enjoy being my team. I enjoyed like a lot of the guys that I knew in the office and stuff. You know, having a good time with them. You know, that part is fun. But overall, like I'm good with it. I'm good without it, essentially.
I'm with whatever.
So
then if they completely remove the whole human interaction every like a week, every 2 weeks, whatever the plan will be, you wouldn't be mad about it?
No, I wouldn't be mad. I think it'd be perfectly fine. I'd have no issues with it, honestly. Like, you know, and so like, but obviously like everyone's different. As I said, there are people who really do like being in the office all the time. There are people who don't like being in the office at all, and there are people who are in the middle ground and they're good with either one, or either they want like a little bit more of one and then the other. I feel like everyone just has to try, like if your work allows it, you know, you try to get to like, you adapt to your own what's it called, work schedule that kind of like suits you, and then besides that, like there's nothing to worry about.
Do you think, especially working in like the tech field yourself, right? Do you think that the option of working from home makes a lot more jobs more attractive nowadays, or?
Yeah, I would say like for like recently, retention has been a big problem in the tech industry as a whole right now, because everyone's moving around, everyone's moving to different places, and they're all moving to things that suits them. Like you have a big push of people, like even companies that reach out to me now, right, or like recruiters that reach out to me, like one of the things they always put is like fully remote work, you know, and blah 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 blah, the whole spiel. And
work,
I'm like,
and
you know,
when you say fully remote, does it mean like work from wherever,
no,
wherever,
like,
or
you see the thing is,
boundaries?
fully remote does not actually mean like I'm in Ireland, I can now fly off to London and work there for a few months or whatever the hell. That's actually not worse, because European laws work differently from the way your work can do things.
Well, you know.
Because the way it works is you can only legally stay in a country for X amount of time before you have to start paying tax to that, even if you, as a European citizen, you know,
So,
especially if you're working there.
When you say pay tax to that, you mean like on top of the tax you're already paying in the country,
exactly.
or?
Yeah, but the thing is, it's sticky. No one really likes doing it. No one likes dealing with it. So, and all that stuff. So essentially, the way it is, you have to have a permanent address, and that's where you get taxed. And then if you are going to go to another country, you can only go for X amount of periods of time, and then go back to your permanent address, and so on and so forth. It's like a rolling 12-month period type thing. So
They don't want to deal with it.
yeah, they don't want to deal with it. So like that's kind of how it works. But it means like within Ireland, like let's say I was fully remote in Ireland, I can move and live anywhere I want in Ireland. Like, you know, so
I mean,
it's not too bad.
at least that, it's the least they can do.
No.
I wonder if because of this whole remote work, it would mean that Ireland overall as a country is going to become more populated in like the rural areas where it's, you know, cheaper to live.
I guess it depends on how much like people actually start, like how many companies start implementing fully remote. I don't give a shit about fully remote, to be honest. What I give a shit about them is fucking implementing the 4-day work week.
Okay,
that's the peak thing I want. Like,
is that in the talks? Do you know any
it's
inside information?
Probably, I'd say in the talks, honestly. Like,
Share.
We randomly get 4-day work weeks here and there. Like, and I've heard other companies getting 4-day work weeks. And sure, England actually just introduced a thing. For 6 months, they're doing a 4-day work week trial.
What, all over England? Or tech sector?
Like all over England, but like your company has to go and take part in the trial and so on and so forth.
But I assume this doesn't like apply for like shops or...
No.
Yeah, so it's just like office jobs.
Exactly. So, but a few tech companies have applied have done it. They're part of the trial, because I think the way they're doing it is that they reimburse you X amount, you know, for like the possible loss in money for that extra day that you're doing for 6 months or whatever it is. I was reading there recently, and so, but yeah, they're trialing that for a few companies that have opted in already, you know, to try to test out the 4-day work week to see if it does increase productivity.
Interesting. What's your take? Will it not?
I think it depends on some people, like spread out the workload or whatever, so they would have to adjust their workload to a 4-day work week. And I feel like if you can successfully do that, you might as well. Personally, I think, like, honestly, like for most of the time, I always feel like Friday is the day that does the least amount of, you get the least amount of stuff done, because there's not much left. You're wrapping up for the week or whatever. So essentially, you could do all that on like half the work I do on a Friday most of the time is work I could easily do on a Thursday evening if I really wanted to.
Okay.
You know, so like if I was to do that and they were giving me Friday off, easily I could fit all my workload within a 4-day work week, and that way it's done in 4 days, and then I have 3 days to relax and chill and do whatever, because 2 days is just not enough.
Yeah. So essentially what you're saying is like, oh, on Thursday you're purposely leaving some stuff to do on Friday.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have something to do.
Yeah, like, but obviously sometimes what I'll do is I'll do all my stuff, and then on Friday I'll do whatever like miscellaneous other stuff is there, you know, like whether it's writing up documentation, doing this, do that.
Doing what?
Oh, miscellaneous, sorry, freaking hell.
How'd you say it the first time?
Miscellaneous items.
How'd you say it the first time?
Miscellaneous. Yeah, sorry, English is not my first language, despite the fact that everyone thinks I have an American accent, even though I don't. But yeah, no, miscellaneous items like writing a documentation, doing this, reaching out to people, this, all that stuff. So I leave that for Friday, so it's not too bad.
It'd be interesting to see, and I hope that there's some progress in that direction. But I also hope there isn't going to be like overworking people for the 4 days, because I know in the tech sector, I feel like you guys, like, you know, maybe you can, no, but you know, the work that's like there's counts on, like it's like you have to have a certain amount of things done
for,
like
stuff that
you know,
like ticket, like if you're ticketed, so they have to do X amount of tickets or stuff like that.
So
like
then it's like
in support roles or stuff like
that. Yeah.
Support roles where like you get bonuses based off how many tickets you complete and stuff like that. Yeah.
I hope it doesn't affect them in like that whole like crunching everything into 4 days when they could have gotten. To be honest,
I think those ones wouldn't move to a 4-day work week. Okay. I think it would be because like most of those work are shift work anyway. Like even in our office, like they do kind of like shift roles and stuff like that. So they do X amount on, X amount off, X amount on and off and stuff like that. Obviously, because there's a lot of us, they do like, you know, like they do the 5 days or 6 days or 7 days, but they do X amount of hours a day or whatever. So it depends, like, you know, obviously it depends on the tech company, what role you're in and all that stuff. All those things change from place to place.
Guess if the company can afford it.
Yeah, exactly. So, but like for support and stuff like that, that would have to definitely be, that's already 7 days a week. Like that's already 7 day a week job.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. That's like, true. That's
like,
true.
You know,
that's true.
You know, like that's already a 7 day, like there's always support on. Like it's not like the whole, like when they say 4 day a week work week, they mean for the people who can. They don't mean for every, like it's not like the whole company is running Monday to Thursday, and then Thursday in the evening, everyone stop what you're doing. Everything's offline. Friday's here. Go home.
Yeah, no, I get you. It's not like Christmas Day.
Yeah, exactly.
So then obviously would the same work for sales roles?
Yeah, I think they would also probably be like 4-day work week for them. It depends obviously on the company. Like, but like obviously if you can hit your sales targets within 4 days, that's fucking class anyway. Yeah. Right? So like, well, it's not 4 days, but I mean like if doing it 4 days a week for like whatever quarter and you can hit your sales targets, then yeah, that's sick. But if you can't, obviously you'd have to work on the Friday or whatever, or work over more, you know, but like obviously it's like depending on if there are other people there to pick up your calls.
Yeah,
know?
I get you.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's an interesting take.
Yeah, no, it's not too bad. So, but yeah, no, I know. I feel like all those stuff is like kind of like the way to the future. Like, you know, there's actually this girl on TikTok, Jules Sterpak. She does kind of like infographic news stuff, and it's very focused on like current generation like working styles and how they consume social media and all these other things. And like she has pretty interesting stuff, like it's based off news, like and stuff like that. And like she talks a lot about like the whole, like, you know, how nowadays the current generation doesn't want to be working for as long, what work-life balance is the most important to them, all these things. So these are all things that like companies, like obviously, but this is mostly in the tech field, you know, that this is happening because
you guys can afford to,
you know, you can afford it obviously, but like if it gets big, it can trickle down the line and stuff. Or either like, for example, let's say people are like, fuck this, I don't want to do that, I'm gonna try find a job. Like you see that a lot on TikTok now, that you see people saying how I moved from whatever job into the tech sector, you know, without having to ever touch code. And that's getting a big popular thing. So if you had a situation where a lot of your workforce is leaving your place to go to the tech sector and whatever degree they can get in, you're gonna probably have to start doing stuff to attract them to stay in your.
Yeah, that's true. Like you said, the more companies that do it, the easier it's gonna be for people to leave to strive for better.
Yeah, exactly. So like, and if you have to do a little bit of study to get up there, like it's actually worth it, like, you know, long term. So, and the money's better anyway. So.
Are you willing to put your work-life balance before, I don't know,
a paycheck?
Yeah.
God, no, I love it.
But you're no, like you're still, because I mean, like if you're going to a tech company, your paycheck is getting better and your work-life balance is getting better. Yeah, so there's no L's at all.
There's no L's unless you're becoming a software engineer. Then you have to add the mental taxation of depression. But besides that, everything is good.
Hey, you have to make it sound attractive.
Yeah, money.
No, like money. The job, you know.
No, money.
Come on, I'm sure there's people in your company who love coding.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah.
But they also probably love money too.
No, obviously, yeah, but I just mean like the job itself.
Oh yeah, there are people who enjoy it. Like, not every single aspect. It's all like you enjoy the parts you get to do.
That's what every job though.
But not the whole thing. Like I don't think there's any engineer that the entire time they're like, yes, this is amazing. I love this whole thing from start to finish. It's like, I love this part, I love this part, I love this part. I don't like you, I don't like you, I don't like you. So,
I think that's what every job, though. I think it's, you know, it's like you're working in a retail store, right?
Yeah.
And you just like arranging stuff, but you're not gonna like people giving out to you for no reason. So
yeah, exactly. It's just like parts of life that you have to deal with, you know.
You have to balance it out. Like, is it worth it? Is it worth the mental taxation?
Is it worth the taxation without representation?
Maybe. But yeah, it's interesting. I think it'll be interesting to see where we go after this whole pandemic. Obviously, it's not over, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Pandemic isn't over. It's over.
Pandemic isn't over.
Like, it'll be interesting to see what the working world will look like that can, you know, afford to do the whole work.
Yeah, it'll take a few. I think it'll take a few iterations. Obviously, like, nothing's gonna happen overnight, and I think it's gonna take at least like well into like my brothers or even the generation below him, when they start working. I think that's when we're gonna really see the big change. So that's not for
so like September.
No, my youngest brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
No. So like, I think it'll take about 5+ years around that before we see the big impact of what all this starts to do, you know, with companies moving. I think within the next decade, that's when we'll see what changes have made.
Oh, what? I'm too old then. Like, that's not fair.
That's not my problem at all. That's a personal problem.
Sounds like a
personal problem
to me. No, but it'd be interesting. I think it'd be nice to take advantage of whatever's out there, but I'm sure a lot of other pressures are going to come out from other ends, and
of course
other problems are going to arise. So, but it's interesting.
Yeah. So I heard you got some stuff on the menu for us today that you brought in that you want us to discuss in it.
Who told you that?
I saw you writing it when you came into your room.
What if I was writing like some deep personal letters?
Some bullshit.
To myself.
Bullshit.
What if I was writing in my diary? I don't even have a diary.
Bullshit.
No, so I was just scrolling through TikTok, you know, and I realized like we discussed so many Reddit stories because I spend a lot of time on Reddit. You spend a lot of time on Reddit. But you know, we also spend a lot of time on TikTok. So there's always like very interesting stories that, you know, come up there, and like random things. There's just a random story that I saw, and I wanted to really hear your take on it, right?
Okay.
So, basically there's this family, with 6 kids.
6 kids is too much kids.
And it's already flag number 1, right? But the eldest daughter has been taking care of the other 5 kids while growing up, just raising them, whatever.
Eldest sibling problems. If you know, you know.
Yeah, exactly. But at the age of 15, she moved out by herself.
Okay. Wait, she moved out of her house at 15 years old?
Yeah, she was working, fending for herself. I know, crazy. But then she got a call from her mom telling her that she better be ready at the age of 18 to take custody of all 5 kids.
What?
So yeah, repeat. So I just found it really interesting because when I looked at the comments, it was very split on like as to, should she take them on, should she not? And obviously you have siblings and stuff, and like you at age of 18 with your five siblings that you have to take care of, what do you do?
Yeah, that's wild. But the thing is, I guess, is it a situation where it's like, if she doesn't take care of the siblings, if she doesn't become guardianship, they just throw them out. They just throw those kids out.
No, they put them through the system.
Yeah, but they're throwing them out. Is what I'm saying. They just toss them out.
Toss them out.
Like, you're fend for your own in the system. Fuck. I think me, as I am, I would take care. I wouldn't put my siblings underneath me. Obviously, like, I think this was in America, right? Yeah. Yeah, which means government aid is out the window.
Minimal.
Well, it's minimal. It's there, but it's minimal. But,
and there's a lot of it sounds like there's a lot of hard work to get any form of help. Yeah,
of course. Because like, if this was in Ireland, I would literally get so much aid from the government. Like, I literally would get paid per kid. Yeah. Well, just because I'm taking care of them.
I think that might be the case in the US as well, though.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, what I think it depends on state to state on how much you get, so on and so forth, all that stuff. Yeah. Right. So either way, like, whether I was in States or whether in Ireland, I'd still take care. Like, those are my brothers, sisters, whatever, you know. I would definitely, like, obviously I'd have to try to figure out a way. It'd be hard, and like, we're gonna be eating a lot of pot noodles, but you know, I do it. I don't know, especially since like it's not like you're estranged to them. You get me? As in, like, if it was like siblings you never really knew, you never really cared about, I wouldn't have a problem just being like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Put it in the system. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is, right? But I feel like it would be hard seeing that I've raised them myself, you know, for a long time.
But
and like looked after
if you
them.
think about it, right, this is like someone who raised them up to the age of 15. So she must have been raising them from age of what, 12?
Well, not necessarily, as in like you can be taking care of your siblings from like 7, 8, like not necessarily like cooking for them or cleaning for them.
Oh,
like,
I'm sure she has, but I feel like by
So-
age of like when she was a teen, a lot more responsibility was on her shoulders, like cooking
with
for
way,
them.
The way these parents are shitty, I wouldn't be surprised if it was earlier than that, honestly.
That's true.
Like, but either way, like I would take care. You know, like if right now my parents were to like be like, yeah, screw all you, kick all, I would take care of Boston Basit. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I had like that, and that's.
Wait, that's you right now.
You know,
How about you at 18 going through college?
I would have still done it.
Okay. Do you drop out of college?
Yeah, no, I try to do everything. Like that's
Okay.
you just try your best.
So what
you
happens?
know?
Like, do you get like?
Because like realistically, you don't have to take care of them like that like every day. You get me? As in like, you just need to be able to provide for them.
But these are
amount.
5 siblings, so the ages
Yeah.
between them must be quite high. I
course.
assume some of them are toddlers.
I'm gonna tell the other ones to take care of the other ones, and
Okay.
I'm like, here's some money. Here's
So everyone's raising each other.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. You know, like you just gotta try to figure out what you're gonna figure out. Like I couldn't, like, they're my siblings. I couldn't.
Yeah.
They're my blood. I couldn't just throw them out.
So then,
you
what do
know.
you do? Say like you're in college, right? You're not in the same state. Do you take them all with you? Do you have to find a place there? What if the government can only fund you in the specific state you're in?
You know, like.
Do you move back home? Do you
Well, those are the type of stuff that you literally just do. Like let's say you can stay in the same state. You try to bring them in with you. Let's say if you're in a dorm, you obviously have to leave the dorm and try to find somewhere that's gonna allow you, like whether it's 1 bedroom and we all sleep on the freaking floor and or whatever, or if it's like in a different state, you see if there's a possibility, especially since it's in this day and age, see, is there a possibility for me to do my classes online? You talk to your lecturer, you talk to the department, and you explain them your scenario, and I would hope they would be able to sort something out for you, you know? Obviously it's extra work or whatever, but you just try to see what you can do, you know, like in the end of the day, like, and obviously the biggest thing the worst case scenario is that you make the sacrifice of like giving up your education, working a normal job, and doing it so they can go through, do whatever to fend on their own eventually, and then that would be enough for you to keep you going and being like, hey, at least, and then if any of them make it, they'll remember you and be able to take it nicely to you, you know, or whatever. But like in the end of the day, you don't do it for that. You do it because they're your siblings and you love them and care for them. Like,
what if you don't want to?
If you don't want to, that's fine. I
this-
would never shame someone for not
Okay,
wanting to do that.
okay.
That's their own decision. That's their own prerogative. Because as I said, everyone has their own different scenarios. Like, you know, everyone's different. Like, it depends on what you think you can take off, what you can't. Like, and if you feel like you're like, I genuinely don't want to do this because I don't think I can do it, or I genuinely don't want
Too
to do
much
this because-
pressure.
or because I don't care about them that much. They're not like, I'm not that.
I
wouldn't care.
I feel like it's unfair to even say like that, bring up like caring about them, because this person definitely cares. I think it's a decision of like, this will be so mentally tasking for me. I don't think I can do it.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying if they even they said I just don't care about them. I'm not even talking about.
You mean how you would view them?
Yeah,
if they, okay.
Like even if they literally told me, I literally just don't give a shit about these kids.
Yeah.
I don't want them. I wouldn't give you shit about it either. Like that's your own decision. It's not my place to say. You know, I can only tell you what I would do in my position, and you decide to do what you do in your position. You know, type of thing.
I think it's rough. It sounds like a very rough home, because even in the comments they're like, oh, could you talk to like an auntie, extended family, something who can help you? And the girl responded was like, oh, they all know what my mom is like. They're not willing to help us.
Yeah.
I think it's just such a toxic and sad environment to grow up in, because like, why do adults have like kids like that and not wanting kids?
Yeah, because they're fucking idiots.
Like what? Oh
like,
my god, it's so upsetting.
It's always the people who don't deserve it or whatever, and they get a bunch of fucking kids and they can't even do shit, and then it's there, and then the kids are off fending for themselves, you know.
It's so upsetting. Like, just don't have kids.
And then you have people who would love to fucking raise a kid. Not saying they would be good at it, but like they want to anyway.
Yeah.
They at least have the want, and they can't even have some. So like, you know, it's the way the world's unfair, you know.
Very. I'm thinking what I would do. I think if it's 5 of them, I don't think I could do it. But I would really want to. So I don't know. Like, I really don't know. Like, if it was, I don't even know.
Nah, me, 100%. I'd struggle through. I'd do it. I could not do it. I'd literally forgo all my life ambitions just to raise my siblings. Like,
I think I'm too selfish.
You know, I'm a very selfish person, but I feel like, I don't know, when it's like someone I grew up with, and because I think about my 2 brothers now, if there was a scenario anytime in the last few years that my parents were like, yeah, we could do whatever even they died or whatever, I wouldn't let them I would take care of them.
Yeah. No, I think me right now at this point, 100%, I'm taking care of anyone. Me at 18 was not. Me at 18 didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Honestly, I didn't even want to go to college. I just kind of went to college. I would have just been so confused and not know what to do. And I think the pressure of like having to take care of myself and growing up myself and other siblings, and like this is very common, especially like in Romania with families with like lots of kids and the oldest are raising everyone and stuff. So it's not like a new story that like I would have heard of. Like I was very familiar with this kind of idea. It's just like being in the West and like being 18 and just being like confused as hell, and like, you know, it's like I'm depressed. But I think deep down like I would have taken them on, and I think Ireland provides a very good system to
like that's one thing I do think Ireland definitely does give a better system for stuff like that. Obviously I could be wrong, like I could, but from my own personal experience, I do know one person who had to take care of her brothers, because obviously granted she was much older. And like so, but she had to take care of 3 of these kids, and she got paid by the government to take care of the kids, you know, and then she also still got all the benefits as well, you know, like child support and stuff like that, separate from the money the government was giving her per kid. To take, like, because they're like, this is your full-time job essentially, you know.
It really is though.
So they're paying her and stuff like that. So, and they still pay her to this day, even like I think it's up until they're 18, she doesn't get paid for them anymore or something like that. Or whatever it is. But yeah, no, like I think Ireland provides a good support system for that.
Ireland, like even after 18, if there's the kids are still like struggling, you're still struggling with the kid, they still will help you. There are other ways. It's just, you know, a different kind of take.
But in America, it's definitely a lot harder.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. This kind of reminded me of the story I remember we were looking at in sociology, right? And I think it was in Czech Republic, and there were a lot, like the Roma community was quite big there, and a lot of them were having kids and, you know, whatever. And the government kind of got involved in taking the females to do like tests on them or whatever to make sure that they're healthy, whatever. But when they were doing this, they were tying their tubes without their consent, without anyone knowing.
Damn.
I know, it was crazy. And then there were essentially later down the line, like they were getting a lot of shit from the husbands because they were like, why aren't you like reproducing children?
Where are the
like,
kids?
You
why
know,
aren't you popping out them kids like I'm popping them pills?
It was crazy. And, you know, talking about it like in class and stuff, and it was resurfaced, like the whole story to like the public and whatever. I guess it just didn't get enough attention, but it was just so crazy to discuss this. And it's just like, oh my goodness, like how is that legal? How is that allowed, you know, without their consent? Or
nowhere, Romania, like,
this was Czech Republic.
Oh, sorry, in Czech Republic. So, and like it's the Roma communities that don't give a shit about them. So, you know, they were discriminated against. So,
and they just didn't want them to reproduce more and more people to take care of, essentially, which is
exactly
pretty upsetting.
No, that's wild. That's wild. Fuck that. Fuck those doctors breaking the
law,
the oath.
Yeah, I think when they were asked about it, they were like, "Oh no, we didn't do that."
Yeah, no.
Oh really? That's so crazy.
Breaking your doctor's oath. Damn.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. Another topic that obviously is very talked about nowadays and whatever, and I think you're a good enough person to have on the podcast to talk about this, are NFTs. And a lot of women feel like they're falling behind and letting, like, you know, men are fully ahead and like taking advantage of this, and like females want to be part of this while it's still like, you know,
a hot topic. So, well, to be honest, like NFTs are here to stay. Like the concept of NFTs, like you have to look at it overall. So NFT stands for non-fungible token, right? Meaning
non-exchangeable tokens, just in case, because I haven't heard the word fungible before.
Fungibility. You know, so it's a non-fungible token, and everyone, when you think of NFTs now, because of just like the way you're thinking of JPEGs, you're thinking of pictures on the internet, right? Because that's how it's used.
Generally, I think even when like looking it up and stuff, it focuses on like video, audio, and photos.
Yeah, but it is video, audio, and photos, and that is what it is. Like anything you can transfer over the internet. Like, but what I mean is everyone's looking at it from the photo perspective right now. Right?
Oh, okay.
Everyone's looking at it as like JPEGs on the internet. You know, all these crypto punks, monkeys, Bored Ape Yacht Clubs, all these things that you're looking at. You know, all these things you're like, what is this? You know, but you have to look at it as in like NFT. The concept of it is here to stay, because the idea is we're trying to move to Web3, the metaverse, all these hot buzzwords that are out there.
The meta.
You know? So, like, the idea is what NFTs is about unique ownership. So, it's to say that I own this thing. And yes, you can take a screenshot, take a picture, yeah. And it's like, I have it now too. Yes, you do. But you're not, as in for this specific address on this blockchain, right? On whatever crypto network it is, the owner of it is this account here, right? So that means they're the rightful owner or something, you know? The same way as in, if I was, obviously this is a hypothetical because this is literally would never happen. If I was to buy the Mona Lisa and hang it up on my wall, and I have the certificate of authenticity that this is the Mona Lisa, and I am the owner, Farouk Vlade owns the Mona Lisa. You guys can all have your own fake Mona Lisas out there, but it's not the real Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
Like yours is selling for $5. Mine is selling for ungodly amounts of money, right?
Of course.
Because it's the original, it's the proper thing.
So this is interesting. It's a very interesting concept as we're moving towards like, you know, Ready Player One kind of world. And if you haven't seen the movie or the books or whatever, very, very good. But it's basically kind of saying that we're moving towards a more like, you know, virtual world. And so in a virtual world, like a screenshot that you have of something wouldn't matter, right?
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't matter anyway.
Like you can have it and you can put it on your wall, but like when it comes to
there's no like
it,
tag next to it that says,
yeah, exactly, that's real.
yours.
Essentially you can't sell it, you know?
Yeah.
Because you have to remember, like, the idea of the metaverse or Web3 is that with the reality we have right now, we're going to be able to have that as well virtually. You know, the idea is I'm going to be able to sit at this table here in a fake virtual world. I can use an avatar of myself, which is actually a pretty cool project. If you guys want to check it out, it's called Meta Hero.
I'm gonna write that down.
If you want to check it out, essentially what it does is like it's like this massive rig with cameras and stuff, and literally like if you sit in it, it digitizes you. It makes a virtual version of you.
Yeah.
Right. So essentially, it's called like, you know, Meta Hero. And the way it works is like it digitizes you. So like, let's say I have a Meta Hero avatar, which is myself, right? And then blah de blah de blah. I'm sitting here at this virtual desk in this virtual world, virtual room, talking to you. You can be whatever you want. You know, you can use your own character, your own whatever. Right?
Avatar, I guess.
Whatever avatar you want. You know.
It reminds me of that. What was that game? Imvu. Do you remember Imvu?
Oh yeah, or sure, VR chat. Yeah.
VR chat, but I feel like people would be familiar with Imvu, right?
I don't know.
You don't know Imvu? Oh my god, was this a big thing?
I
like
know it, like, but I
East?
don't know how much people would actually.
Okay,
remember.
fair enough.
But
I try to give an example, okay?
But yeah, no. Essentially, like you have a virtual chat or whatever, you're inside a virtual world, and like obviously initially first it will be through like virtual reality, you know, rigs. You know, that's how we're going to first experience it. Obviously, the super big thing in the end of the day is to have full dive technology. Shout out to the SAO fans. Like, but the idea is you have this kind of thing you lay down and it connects to your nerve endings, to your brain as signals. So essentially you when you look, you're actually using your senses. So if you feel everything, touch everything, see
do you have to wear
everything
like specific gloves or?
Well, obviously we don't know how the idea is that you just put on a thing, it connects to your brain, so instead of you every time you want to send a brain signal, because you know every time you're doing something it's sending brain signal, so instead of sending brain signals to your body, it sends it to the machine. And so you do everything that you were trying to tell your body to do inside the game.
Jeez.
Not inside
so
but
can I get buff in game?
Obviously, but you could just slide to something that would make you
no like IRL through the game.
No. Because you're not sending nerves to your body. Your body's just gonna be laying there, you know?
like a vegetable,
you know. So you're done, you know. But yeah, no.
Okay, so NFTs, right?
Yeah.
Why do they seem so expensive to buy?
Because they're on Ethereum network, which is expensive as hell.
What's Ethereum?
So Ethereum is a smart contract network, which what it means is essentially is it's a series of blockchains, which is just a series of ledgers, right? Like books. So essentially you have a book, I have a book. There are lots of copies of this book that contains the information for every single transaction on this network, right? So when you make a transaction of, you give me something for one Ethereum, and what's it called? You give me something, I give you one Ethereum, right? And then let's say I had 5 Ethereum, let's say you had 0 Ethereum. And now you have 1 Ethereum, I have 4 Ethereum. Then that's updated across all the ledgers. So everyone knows what the current, amount is for each of us. Right?
So the type of like currency.
See, yeah, exactly.
But
and then
does it become difficult considering how volatile it is though?
Obviously, like those are things that we work on and stuff. But also the thing is, even for you to just do that transaction, it costs a small amount of Ethereum for you to do that transaction. So you have to pay point whatever. But the thing is, Ethereum is crazy for gas fees. So like gas fees is like what you use to like accidentally tip the person who does that transaction for us, right? The computer that does that transaction, that allows us to do that transaction, you tip them a bit of
they're
Ethereum,
making bank then.
So they can do whatever.
Yeah,
like that's what Ethereum mining means. That you're one of the nodes who are doing all those transactions and stuff like that, right? So the idea is, and anyone can do that. If you want, look it up and see if you can make money off it. Like you make small amount, but like it's still better than nothing. And and then NFTs, are usually on the Ethereum network. So essentially when you create an NFT, when you mint, it's called minting an NFT. What it does is it creates that thing and attaches it to an Ethereum address, and then it lets you know who. That's why it's like real ownership, because then that thing has an Ethereum address, and that Ethereum address is on my ledger.
Okay.
I own it,
Will you forever have your name on it, even if someone else owns it?
No, so essentially the way it works is there's a transaction history for that, because it's also an Ethereum. It's an Ethereum blockchain.
And everyone can see this.
So everyone can see it. Okay. You can go on Etherscan, and it can show you who owned it, who they sold it to, when it was sold, and then all the history of how it's moved around and who the current owner is, of course. That's the whole idea.
I assume, and let's talk about this part of thing, it would show the creator, like...
Yes.
Yeah.
The Ethereum address that created it.
Obviously. Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about the creating part. How do I create something?
You can create anything.
An NFT.
You, like, go do some digital art, upload it onto your computer, go to OpenSea, create mint NFT, like create an NFT. You upload whatever you want, whether let's use a photo, as you said, like that you created digital art, and you pay a bit of Ethereum, because that's the thing you have to pay.
So I have to pay.
You have to pay
to sell.
To do anything on the Ethereum network, it costs Ethereum.
And when you say pay, is this part of, like, is this gas fees or
gas fees?
Exactly. Or is it just gas fees?
No, just gas fees. Because you have to like put on the network.
Okay.
Oh, okay. And then
you're essentially using up their space.
Yeah, exactly. So you put up on the network, so it can be assigned an Ethereum address, and you need Ethereum to do that. So, and you pay a gas fee, and then boom, bam, anyone can go and buy that now. And the beauty about creating your own NFT is that you can get royalties off that. So you can set the royalties like on OpenSea, that every time this does a transaction from one account to another, you get X amount percentage of that Ethereum. So you can say, I'll get 5%, 10%, whatever amount, royalties for that Ethereum. Okay,
so the creator can...
So the creator will forever constantly
make money
getting
off
paid
it. That's crazy.
As long as the NFT is being changed. But obviously, like, the space is crazy. Lots of people in the space. And, like, kind of back to the whole girls in the NFT space, there's actually plenty of women in the NFT space. Like, if you really want to get into NFTs, whether it's if you're just interested in technology, whether you're interested in the space, whether you're interested in the money, whatever it is, Twitter is the big thing for it. Twitter is the golden goose for the NFT space. Everyone who does anything with NFTs is Twitter, like, as in everyone's talking about it. And then the communities that are built for like specific projects and stuff is housed on Discord. Right, so they work intertwined. So like, there are big people in the NFT space talking about NFT projects they're going into, NFT projects they're starting, all these other things, and they're talking about NFTs as a whole. And then if they hit on a project, they usually have a Discord community where everyone who's interested in the project, and they create like a little world for themselves, a little community where they talk about that specific project, talk about all that stuff, and it's pretty cool. So Twitter and Discord are the real big things. Like if you're trying to get into the NFT space, go on Twitter, look up, you can like follow the NFT topic, see all these NFT stuff, see some projects you like, go into their Discord, become part of the community, see if you can get the NFT. You know, like obviously it costs money, like all these, like that's the thing. That's a big thing. It's a big barrier to entry, obviously. But the thing is, even projects like, let's say PFP projects is a real big thing, which is profile picture, right? You all know what PFPs are. So essentially, like, where you create X amount of these NFTs that are randomly generated, right? Different characters, different whatever, art style, whatever. And you can obviously use it as a profile picture. You can use it for whatever. And like in the NFT space, everyone's using them as their like things. Like if you look at me on Twitter, it's an NFT. That's my profile picture.
Hey, you screenshot it.
Huh?
Did you screenshot that?
No, I didn't screenshot that one. No, I didn't.
Not that one.
Not
that one.
I own a few NFTs. The full disclosure, like what's it called? Yeah, no, like I'm in the NFT space myself, and I like it's cool, it's enjoyable, and but yeah, no, PFPs, like for example, what they usually do is like 10,000 random NFT profile pictures, and you can try to get it. So when these projects are coming out, you can get whitelisted, which means it allows you to be the first to be guaranteed X amount. So that means like you can get them for cheaper. So like instead of for like 0.2 Ethereum, right? Because obviously when they sell in the secondary market, they can be, sometimes if it does well, it can be astronomically expensive. Like we're talking 2+ Ethereum. Some like the Bored Ape Yacht Club right now, I think the floor price, which means the cheapest you can buy one Bored Ape Yacht Club on OpenSea right now, I think it's like 80 Ethereum.
Damn,
yeah.
80.
And Ethereum, well, obviously
That's
Ethereum
crazy.
is cheapest chips right now. If you want to try it as buy now, well, depending on when you're seeing this, it's like €2,000.
So,
you know?
Just going back to when you mentioned that, there's a lot of women in the space.
Yeah.
I agree, there's a lot of women, but we can't pretend that there aren't a lot more males.
Oh, absolutely.
In the
There's
space.
a lot more.
And I think more women should. Even if they don't get involved in creating, selling, I think it's the knowledge that's just like really, really good to have. Regardless of where you get it from, even if you're just Googling it on Wikipedia, just know stuff.
Yeah, getting information.
Know stuff.
I think everyone in our even generation like should get, not even just forget about NFT specifically, crypto, Web3, metaverse. I feel like these are things you should be like looking into. You're sure you don't have to deep dive into it, but just get some knowledge, because this is where the next big money is. Like honestly, like right now, like you know, the big money is it's all text based. Like this is text based, obviously, but big money is social media. Yeah. Like Instagram, Facebook, Google, TikTok, Netflix, all these type of kind of like streaming social media. That's where the big $1 billion companies are right now. Right? Yeah. The next $1 billion, $1 trillion companies are all going to be in the NFTs and in the crypto, Web3, decentralized DeFi, decentralized finance space. All this stuff, that's where the future is, you know, because we're going to move towards, we're inevitably moving towards a digital world. No, like 100%. Humans will never be like, obviously reality is whatever we make it, but we're reaching our limits. Essentially, we always want more. We're getting more ingrained.
And we are working towards more. The tech field is always working towards more.
We want to be, like, as I said, you want to be inside the game. You want to be doing this. You want to be doing that. You want, like, and I think the pandemic really showed that, as in, like, I need to be able to connect to my family across the world when I can't see them anymore. Yeah. And do I want to just be looking at a Zoom screen to do that? Or do I want to be inside a fake world and also having a good time and chatting as well at the same time? You know? Because like the beauty of it is like you can create digital worlds, you know, like you can create massive fantasy lands and you can go explore inside,
and they look amazing,
you know,
too.
And they look amazing,
beautiful.
And obviously as like technology goes, it gets more advanced, it gets better, and essentially like that's what you're gonna be doing in your spare time, you know, like even if you're gonna like, let's say you can have coffee with your friends in real life, but you can also be like, hey guys, let's just hop on this coffee land thing or whatever, and we all go around, explore, and have a good time, or whatever, I
can imagine trying to explain to my grandma this whole concept right now, and she's like, yeah, these kids are crazy.
Yeah, it seems so foreign.
The kids are crazy.
It seems so foreign.
But you know, I think, and it comes back to like Ready Player One. I think if you read the book, saw like, you know, and have any interest, you'd realize how like we're like inching towards that. And it's not so much of a foreign concept. It's like, yeah, we should have seen this coming. Like, because clearly this is where we're going. Yeah. And coming back to the whole crypto thing, I was in some shop the last day. I think, yeah, you were with me, and there was like a Bitcoin
the Spire,
machine.
yeah,
It was
with the
like buy
Bitcoin machine, you can
Bitcoin.
buy Bitcoin.
And it was just like, what do I even do with this, and why can't I buy it in a shop? I can't buy stuff in the store with Bitcoin. So
Yeah.
what's the point of this?
Yeah, no, it's pretty interesting. Like the way
What is the point of it?
because the idea is eventually we want to move towards being able to use some form of cryptocurrency for transactions or some digital asset. Like even America, like China's been working on their own cryptocurrency. That's why they shut down all their Bitcoin mining and everything in China, because
Really?
yeah, they're trying to create their own cryptocurrency and all these other things, and they don't have control over the Bitcoin and stuff like that. And then even America, I think I was reading it recently, they're working on their own. The American bank is making the Bank of America, whatever it is, I can't remember, the Federal Bank of America or something like that, because Bank of America's company. They're working on their own crypto currency, digital currency.
What's going to happen with, because I know a lot of people are familiar with Bitcoin. I'm just looking at like, my mom and like her kind of age people that I've heard talk about Bitcoin. They're not really as familiar with any other cryptocurrencies, and they're just, it's funny hearing them, because I remember it was like a while ago, oh, Bitcoin is not what it used to be. Meanwhile, like Bitcoin was way like, and then right after all of what they were saying, Bitcoin shot right up to what, like a lot more than it was before. So it's like,
of course.
God, the little knowledge in this, but
it's just people don't have knowledge. Like, it's not out there.
So then what happens when all these countries are creating like different currencies, like
obviously, like
cryptocurrencies?
you'll never. I don't think fiat currency are going to just overnight flip a switch, gone. Like you can't. Your dollar is no good here anymore.
Yeah.
No, I think it's going to be obviously slow phase out. Like think about it. Like one thing I always say, like to my dad and all these other people, is like we don't use fiat currency as much anymore. Like it's very rare nowadays that people usually have cash in hand. Obviously, like obviously some communities have more, but like especially with the young ones, like let's use Dublin for an example. Everyone's using Revolut.
Yeah.
Like,
isn't like in the US like Venmo,
Cash App, all those things. So you're constantly sending people, like when you get paid, it goes to your bank account.
Yeah.
You don't get cash.
No.
When you take that money out to use for other things, tap you here, tap there. You don't ever see. It's just a number on the screen.
Tap in.
Exactly. It's just a number on the screen going up, down, up, down, up, down. You don't ever actually really feel it unless you take the cash out, because you have to pay for something.
You know what's funny? When I pay with like cash now, it's like, oh, it's not real money. It doesn't count. Because it's like, I don't see the numbers ticking, so it's just like, it's not real money.
So it's easier to spend it, and that's the thing, because you're so used to like seeing money go up, money go down, whatever it is. And so like, obviously, like in this day and age, like it doesn't really matter.
But how do you feel about the argument of like having all this like money online happening, online, it's tracking people and what they do, and like things can be taxed and stuff.
The idea is that it should be decentralized, that you don't know who's connected to you. But obviously in the real world, it doesn't work that way. Like we need to know how much you're making for tax reasons, all this, all that. So like right now, let's be honest, you're already being tracked. Like your PPSN number is attached to every bank account you own. If the government really wants, they can see how much money you have everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. So the idea is it's just going to become a digital version of that. Like, I mean, like instead of using the fake euros that are sitting in the bank somewhere, you're using a digital number, another different digital number. So it's not really changing anything.
Yeah.
It's not changing anything at all. It's pretty much staying the same. But obviously the real thing about crypto is meant to be decentralized. It's meant to be, no one knows who, one knows what. All you know is a bunch of ledgers talking to each other, accounts talking to each other, all this stuff. It's not, and like you can't, it's not attached to anyone,
Do you think it'll stay like this, or do you think at one point the government will have to get involved?
The way it is, cryptocurrency. Well, the government's already putting their hands, like so many. The reason, like right now, in this week, I think it's week 4 of the year or whatever, 2022-04, like the reason the market's down right now is because a bunch of Bitcoin minings around the world even have been shut down.
Okay.
And so it's tanking the price, and obviously all their financial stuff going on around the world, all the political stuff, but like it's tanking. So like obviously the governments don't like Bitcoin. Governments don't like,
because they can't
because it makes it harder for them to tax you, because it's very easy to evade tax using these cryptocurrencies, especially if you're not using a centralized exchange like Coinbase. They have no idea how much money you have in all these cryptocurrencies, right? So it makes it hard, and they don't like that. But obviously, like that's why they're trying to do something about it, to make their own, do whatever it may be. But only time will tell us to how things, like anything can happen in the next few years. This space, like if you're going into the cryptocurrency, decentralized exchange, decentralized finance, and all these like Web3 metaverse stuff now, you are extremely early. Like super, like there is, people don't even know there's a building that they have to line up in front yet. You know, like it's so early. You're ridiculous.
Guys, come on, get on it.
You know,
this is a tip from our podcast to jump on it while you're still early. You know,
while it's super early. You know, like even if you're not gonna like be out here creating NFT, buying NFTs, just learn about the space so that when it starts getting hot, you at least know what to do. While everyone else is trying to like pick up and learn the pieces, you're already ready to just start playing the game.
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
Well, I hope that you can take that from today's podcast to dip your toe in, I guess. Thank you for your insight and all the educational things.
No worries.
You've let us know. If you have any more questions, do let us know. We'll try to discuss them on our podcast.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, I guess we can leave it off here.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the podcast and have a good day, guys.
Till next time.
Peace.